If you've been paying attention, the last couple of 48 hours have been very interesting. The stock market is crashing. Cryptocurrencies are on the decline. And people are in a pandemania over the coronavirus. Now, mind you, a lot of these things are important. I'm not telling they're not. You know, the stock market's important for a select few. Mind you, probably 95% of people own zero stock. Same thing with crypto. Now, the coronavirus, that is a thing that affects you and I. Now, if you're a young male like me, primarily it doesn't really affect us, but we affect people around us who are more predisposed to it. So there's many different things happening in the world today. But what I want to talk about in this video is not those things. What I want to talk about is the emotion that goes along with those things. And that emotion is fear. And so if you look at media, you look at Twitter, you look at Google, you look at Facebook, you look at how media businesses are done, they're done through fear. All right. The reason why they propagate fear, and this is the whole notion of news, is clickbait. Fear is the best way to get people to click on ads and to click on headlines. This is the nature of their business. Advertising. The more clicks and eyeballs they get, the more revenue on the back end they make. Now, it's really important to understand fear. Fear, for the most part, is an emotion of the unknown. Fear is something that you don't understand, and this is why we fear it. It's a safety mechanism ingrained in us through our evolutionary psychology and biology. Fear is healthy. Fear, for the most part, people have a negative connotation. In reality, once you understand it, it's a positive connotation. See, back in the day, we were hunters and gatherers and tribal communities all around. Fear did play a really, really important role, because if we encountered an animal, we didn't know if this animal can kill us. We didn't know if this animal is poisonous. So our sympathetic versus parasympathetic system comes into play to figure out what we can do. All right. And so fear protects us. When we encountered another tribe, what did we do? We didn't say, hi, how are you doing? No. Back in those days, guess what? It's the unknown. So right away, we go into defense mode. So from the beginning of time, fear has been ingrained in human DNA as a protection mechanism. Now, as we evolved as a society, as a species, fear in certain contexts of situation actually became, I want to say, a negative connotation because it's a default aspect of human being, but it was utilized and not understood. And when you don't understand the emotion that you're experiencing, whether that is fear or happiness or doesn't matter which emotion, when you don't understand any of these emotions, that's when you really don't know what the fuck's going on. And so what we see today, with the stock market, with Corona, with all that, these types of events, not the stock market, but world events have been happening since the beginning of time. They're nothing new. 2008, the Great Depression, World War II, World War I, my parents' Yugoslavian War, many different civil wars. We can go back in time and there's been huge events. In fact, I would say this so-called mini blimp of event right now is probably the first time some millennials are getting exposed to something, at least in the West. But I really want you guys to focus on fear, because when you are listening to all these headlines and when you're listening to these media telling you to be like, hey, we're in a depression and we're not going to have jobs and everything's going to go to shit, this should be a red flag to you right away, like a massive red flag. There's that saying, Charlie Munger said it, and I think they quoted from the Rothschilds, when there's blood on the street, buy. But that's a metaphor. They use it for the stock market, but you can use it for anything. And basically, the whole point of this is, and René Girard talks about this in mimetic theory, the whole point is if you're looking at people acting the same, everybody's mimicking everybody. You're mimicking your neighbors are mimicking their other neighbors, and it spreads from city to nation to the world. Everyone's mimicking everybody. No one's really thinking for themselves. And this is where opportunity comes to knocking. If you look back in the day, in 2008, the juggernauts of today, the Amazons, the Apples, the Facebooks, the PayPals, they started during those times. And usually during times of despair, let's call it in quotation, that's when the phoenix rise. This is where the most golden fucking opportunities are in the world. Doesn't matter in what niche you're in or what industry you're in. When there is a so-called depression, I even like that word depression because context does matter. 2020 is very, very fucking different than 2008 and very different from the Great Depression. etc., etc. But what you need to understand is what you're experiencing, because fear to you is the unknown. So what do we do here? What we need to do is we need to analyze why we are being fearful. Why the fuck are we experiencing this? And it's natural. It's not something to say, whoa, what you're experiencing is bad. No, not at all. It's a natural element of the human condition. But it's a really cool exercise to figure out what you're afraid of. Are you afraid of the stock market crashing? Why? Do you own stocks? Like I said, 95% of people don't own stocks. It doesn't really affect them. But why are they afraid of that? Are they afraid that they might get fired? Cool. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to get a better job, a job that pays you more, a job that gives you more free time. Okay. Let's talk about some other things. Fear of the coronavirus. Okay. It's a good fear to have. Very good. It's a protective fear. But maybe there's an opportunity to figure out why you're afraid of it. Okay. It can cause damage to myself, to my loved ones. Cool. Okay. Well, I want to say cool, but we understand what's it capable of. Intelligent man is a man or woman or whatever that understands every aspect. I want to say every aspect, but understands and digests and ruminates on information that they're reading and given. And they don't just accept it as fact. Ray Dalio talks about the trifecta of information gathering. It's always important to get different perspectives, a different perspective of information from different sources who have different degrees of knowledge. You don't want yes people around. You don't want the information from the same source. It's really good to get different set of eyes that have different set of view of this information. And then you have the trifecta or you kind of triangulate the kind of data aggregation. And so basically when it comes to this fear, whether it's losing a job or whether it's stocks or whether it's crypto or whether it's, going back to the coronavirus, this gives you opportunities to better yourself. So going back to the case of coronavirus, what you can do is maybe this is a great way to optimize your health. We know that healthy individuals have a better chance of surviving, right? We know that maybe if you're one of these people who are in the category of being susceptible to it, elderly, that have a weak immune system, what are things that we can do as a family, as a tribe today to make your immune system better? There's no panacea. I'm just saying this, instead of viewing everything in a negative connotation, which is fear, let's flip fear and make fear our best teacher, make it into a positive connotation. And obviously there's pain around the way. You're never going to escape the pain. That's the thing. People think they can escape pain. Pain is the best teacher. I'm not talking about physical pain. Mind you, sometimes physical pain happens. What I'm talking about is the psychological pain of learning something new, right? It is painful, but if, like Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about when he started correlating pain with benefit. And so what pain actually became is a turn on. Fuck, man. If you watched, I'm pretty sure a lot of you watched it, but his documentary Pumping Iron, when he goes like, I'm coming every time. Like, think about that psychology for a moment, right? He associated the fucking burn, the pain, the one more fucking rep like this, to get the muscle. And that's a high for him, literally a fucking addiction. And so that's what you got to figure out is when you're fearing something, the stock market or whatever, I'm just using an example because it's top of everyone's mind right now, but, the virus and stocks, etc. The fear is the unknown. You just don't know what you're feeling. Literally, you just don't know. You have anxiety. You hear all these fucking news outlets, yada, yada. Mind you, fuck the news. You should completely be devoid of news. Headlines, all this stuff, get it away. Close your TV, close social media. If you're on Twitter, you can put filters. If you're on Facebook, I'm pretty sure you can put ad blockers and all that stuff. I don't use Facebook anymore. But there's many, many ways that you can clear your attention, right? Like a horse racing, those horse blinders they have, that's what you need to create when you're getting bombarded by negativity on a day-to-day basis. And don't be sucked up into this fear. And this is how they control people. And when I mean by they, it's not like a group of cabal people going, I'm going to fucking control you. No. It's people who are trying to make money. It's not good people or bad people, just people. They're making money through advertising. They're making money through shorting. They're making money through selling you fucking expensive loans, whatever it may be. Nassim Taleb talks about who has skin in the game. What's the incentive for them? Why they, I always have this saying when I'm pitched a deal or something gets thrown on my desk. Why am I the lucky one to have this deal in front of me? Why am I so blessed? Out of everybody in the world, I'm the blessed one to have this deal. And we dig into it. There's obviously an incentive for that deal to be in front of me. But I look at skin in the game. I look at incentive models, and then I take it at face value. Don't take anything personally. And then really understand yourself. That's like the bottom line of the video. It's like fear is healthy, but understand what you're fearing. And that's how you get ahead in life. It's having the rational and logical mindset to analyze things. And you can go back to Dr. Christopher D. Carlo's method of ABCDEF. I've made a video twice about it. I'll leave a link below this video so you can check out how critical thinking is done. And then don't jump to conclusions. Don't be swayed into the mimetic theories, as Rene Girard talks about. Don't be the monkey see, monkey do through mimesis. Instead, use rational thinking, understand what you're talking about. And that's how you become a better you at everything that you do. And I'll leave it at that. If you guys have a comment for me, leave a comment below this video, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.